What is up, family? You are listening to Living Beyond the Dream podcast, episode 45, where we're taking practical conversations, take the dreams you have for yourself and your organization and turn it into a reality.
Yeah.
My name is Mike, joined by my man Tyler. We're excited that you're joining with us. We hope you're blessed week in and week out. We're hoping we're adding valuable, tangible material into your heart and mind so you can just grow. And if you are being blessed, will you do me a favor? Will you share this? Will you rate and review it? Just help us get the word out. We just want to help as many leaders as possible be as impactful as they can. All right, Tyler, what are we doing this week?
I'm excited about today. So last week we talked about the importance of recruiting. Now we're going to take it one step further.
Okay.
Talk about honor those who you have recruited.
All right, let's do this. Let's honor.
So there's a mindset out there that to honor your teams, you have to spend tons of money, do big events, all this kind of thing, and that is honor. But that's really not the case, right? What's your take on that?
Well, honoring is several facets of honor.
Yeah.
And honoring is basically rewarding people for what you see as just amazing behaviors or activities or actions. But rewards come in all shapes and sizes, so you need to understand, never let an excuse keep you from honoring and rewarding people.
Yeah.
Now, we do want to make sure we value people and invest in them.
For sure.
And we do want to make sure we are stewarding what we've been given so we have the ability to do that. But you don't have to be like XYZ church down the street that's got millions and millions of dollars of an annual budget and try to compete with them because it just may not be suitable for you. But don't let that keep you from honoring.
Yeah.
But I will say this, XYZ down the block that's got millions and millions of dollars of budget probably has a lot more people than you.
Yeah.
So their per capita may be close to what your per capita is on what they're investing per dream teamer.
Yeah.
So you can still honor your volunteers and still not have to spend as much as them because they're trying to cover as much more people.
Yeah.
But being an honoring person, never, ever, ever let someone's tank get on empty.
Yeah.
The closest thing that you can do to destroying your organization is letting your people walk out the door because they don't feel valued.
Yeah.
You cannot run a church by yourself, and you will run people in the dirt and you will burn them out and they will leave if you don't honor them.
Yeah.
Because it is hard work doing church ministry. And I'm not just talking about putting in the hours. I mean, spiritually, there's attacks. Emotionally, it's a lot of work discipling and pouring into people because people are messy. And this is the one organization, I'm talking from the church world, this is the one organization where people come in and they expect you to do something they don't expect any other organization to do.
Yeah.
They want you to fix their souls. They want you to make sure they're spiritually happy. They want you to fix their marriages. They want you to help them with their finances. They want you to make sure that they enjoy everything they're doing. They want you to help them raise their children and teach them how to raise kids. They want to make sure that emotionally they're full. They want to meet friends. No other organization, and I'm not listing everything, is expected to literally change someone's totality of life. And so it is a lot of work spiritually and mentally and emotionally. And we've got to, as leaders, be honoring people, pouring into them because they are on the front lines of a spiritual battle. And it's necessary, and we need to be there because we need to see people understand who they are in Jesus and point them to Jesus. But it's going to take us honoring people to make sure they understand, man, they're not in alone. We care about them. We love them. And we're so honored that they're with us.
Yeah, that's really good. Last week when we were talking about recruiting, the idea that, each person, they want to be heard, their story, so each person can it's kind of like individualized, the recruiting strategy, maybe, if you will. Do you think that that's the same with honoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some things everybody wants to have happen, but it does definitely everybody gets spoke to differently, right? Everybody loves different things. And so that's a big understanding of people's spiritual gifts. There's a wonderful book out there called The Love Languages, right? It's a wonderful resource. Everybody has a different love language.
Yeah.
Not only that, but everybody has different personalities. It's a really important tool to start learning that. And I kind of encourage not this to be done on the general level, but in the department level. When dream teamers are coming, or volunteers, we call them dream teamers in our organization. When volunteers are coming into your organization, your department, Have them take a spiritual gifts test.
Yeah.
Try to learn a little bit about their love languages on the front end so you can kind of start understanding the way they function and the way they kind of click. Now, I will say everybody likes to be celebrated and other people know they were celebrated. So everybody kind of likes that people know that they did something well. Now, they may not like some big grand gesture that may embarrass them, but they kind of like everybody to know, man, they knocked it out of the park. Like, they want you to know they were knocked out of the park. So learn to kind of do all these understandings and really kind of bless people in the right areas. I mean, there's things that I like that people do for me and other things that I don't really care less about. I mean, I'm not rude about it, but it doesn't trigger me because I have a different love language. So learn that from the front end. So it's a great practical tool because you're not going to need that just for honoring. You're going to need that for leading.
Yeah.
Because everybody leads differently. So you need to know how I need to communicate to this person or what motivates this person based on their personality. That helps by learning these things on the front end.
Yeah, for sure. Would you say that big event or individual praise is more impactful?
I think it's twofold, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I feel like the big event is really a total unifying, honoring thing. Mm-hmm. So I think when you do a big kind of gathering, you get all the volunteers together and you're celebrating them and you're making a big deal and it's a fun night. People realize I'm a part of a community.
Yeah.
I belong.
Yeah.
We're making a difference together.
Yeah.
These are people I love. These are family, right? It's kind of like a family reunion, man. You just love that kind of feel. You love that vibe. You kind of like that. So it's really great for morale. It's great for this unifying. But I'll say when you individually honor someone, what you're doing is you're pointing out something very specific they did and rewarding it. And what do they say? What gets rewarded gets repeated.
Yeah.
And when you reward that publicly in that department, what gets rewarded gets repeated. But then other people go, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They like that. Or, man, that's a great thing to do. And then they start repeating it even though they weren't rewarded. So you need to understand kind of the both lanes of why we do both so that we can have honoring in all facets of it.
Yeah, that's good. Is there a lid or a cap on how often you honor?
You can never over-honor, but you can honor with insincerity.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you why you can honor with insincerity.
Yeah.
You can be very repetitive and just telling someone a compliment without ever attaching it to some real action they did.
Yeah.
Right? If you go around just telling everybody they're awesome every time you see them, they don't know why they're awesome.
Yeah.
So then almost every time you see them, you're like, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, awesome, awesome. They start thinking, you tell that to everybody, but is that really something genuine to me?
Right.
Right? So what you've got to learn to do is when you're honoring, attach a why to the reward or the honor or the recognition. So they understand and they can pinpoint what it was they did that was honorable or what they did that went above and beyond. So don't let the, you may not be doing it out of the wrong heart, but don't let the repetition become not genuine because there's no why attached to it.
Yeah, that's good. So let's get into some practical things. I mean, for you personally, what best practices do you have for maybe honoring a team? And then let's take it to individual. Yeah,
for the team on a whole, we are strategic with planning events for that. So what we try to do is several different things. We're trying to plan unifying events, and we do a lot. We earmark the budget for it. We anticipate it. It's put on the calendar for calendar planning that we want to make sure at least twice a year we're bringing the team together to do something honoring. And then periodically we'll just do some random things. Like we just did some dream team nights or team nights, which were spontaneous. We weren't planning it at the last year when we were doing the calendar planning, but we felt like spiritually this was a spiritual season we needed to do. And so we brought everybody again in a very intimate setting, and it was really amazing evenings. We did it over the course of 3 nights with all the departments and just everybody kind of hearing the words back, how much it was so honored they were and blessed by it. So we kind of do that on a general scale.
Yeah.
For me personally, what I do beyond that is several things. You know, I'm a big card writer. I write out every single week thank you cards that I send out and bless people and love people on and want to make sure that I'm intentional with that. And I carve out time to do that every week because I want to be in the habit of always being a grateful leader. I want to never take people for granted, be grateful for them. So I'm very intentional with that. And I randomly send them out every single week, trying to pinpoint, pick people that are doing something and do that. As far as me as a leader, I also try to become very affirming. And that's not natural for me. And you may say, well, that's kind of not a good quality for a leader. I recognize that. That's why I realize it's not natural for me, and I'm trying to be better at that. But I'm just such an initiative taker that sometimes I just don't think about when other people take initiative.
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn in my mind to stop and thank people or tell people they did a good job when I recognize it or recognize something. And I make sure every weekend I'm going around after a service and I'm specifically telling people, man, I saw you put in all that kind of hard work. I mean, I'm making my rounds when passing people and stopping them and pointing out something I saw. So I'm trying to be intentional with that on a regular basis and do that. And then when I get some huddle times, I like to share stories. And so I try to share some wins with people or recognize people when they do something. And just this week, we had a volunteer. A guest at our church was there, dropped her keys down a storm drain.
Oh, my goodness.
Car keys. What's our volunteer do? He crawls down that storm drain, opens up the manhole, crawls down in the middle of the storm drain to find her keys, goes above and beyond.
Come on.
That's what, and I stopped him and told him how much I'm just blessed by it. He makes our church better.
Yeah.
And how much I'm just so blessed that he's such a servant. I made a point, right, to do that. So just be intentional with affirmation and explaining it. Man, send cards take 2 seconds. I can tell you, I've had 80-year-old people come up to me, tears roll down their cheek on a Sunday because they go, I've been going to church my whole life, and I've never had a pastor ever send me a card.
Wow.
And I sent them a card. It took me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally. It took me 2 minutes to write, send them a card. But it blew them away so much that I would actually take the time to do that. So you may think it's nothing to you. It could be everything to them. Honor, man, is so rewarding for the person, but it's rewarding to you. It is so great to be a generous person.
Yeah.
And a grateful person. Life is better when you're generous and grateful.
Yeah. That's so true. So in closing, to end, will you talk to that leader real quick that might not have honor in their culture? How do they start? How do they get out of the rut and at it?
Be intentional. And if you know it's a weakness of yourself, create reminders. I'll tell you what I do. I'm going to give you a little secret. Nobody knows this.
Come on.
3 times a day, I get an alert on my phone that says AAE. And it basically is reminding me, am I being affectionate? Am I being affirming? And do I have empathy?
Wow.
And I literally 3 times a day, I get an alert on my phone and I look at it. And it's actually got a picture of a glove, and it's got a picture of armor. And there's a quote out there, I think it's Winston Churchill, but don't hold me to it. He goes, sometimes you got to lead with an iron fist, but you also got to lead with a velvet glove.
Wow.
So you got to be strict with what you believe in, but you can't beat people with it. You can't be a dictator. You got to have a soft hand with the way you lead also.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that reminder to myself. So make a reminder yourself. If you're not natural in it, put points in your life that you remind yourself to stop and pause, because you can always be better and we can always improve.
So good.
All right, family. Another week in the books. We've been blessed that you're here. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. And until next week, pray God's peace.